Imagine a husband vanishing into thin air, no body, no blood trail, no clear crime scene. The only clue? A chilling confession whispered to a secret lover. This isn't a movie plot. It's a real case unraveling in Utah, where prosecutors say Jennifer Gledhill, a 42-year-old mother, killed her husband Matthew Johnson, a National Guardsman. But here's the shocking twist. To this day, his body has never been found. Today, we're diving deep into the case of Jennifer Gledhill, the alleged affair, the missing husband, and the courtroom battle where prosecutors will try to prove murder without a body. And before we dive deeper, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss our crime stories. And before I forget, drop the name of your city in the comments so I can send you a special shout out in the next video. Today's shout out goes to Emily from Chicago. I'm so glad you're enjoying our stories. Remember, to be featured in a shout out, you need to be a subscriber. And hey, hitting that like button only takes a second, but it really helps us a lot. To understand this case, let's start with who Jennifer Gledhill is. At first glance, she seemed like any other suburban mom. She lived in Cottonwood Heights, Utah, with her husband, Matthew Johnson. Matthew wasn't just a husband and father. He was also a soldier, a National Guardsman who had served his country. But behind closed doors, their marriage was unraveling. By 2024, tension filled their home. Divorce papers were being discussed, and accusations of infidelity swirled. Matthew reportedly suspected Jennifer of having an affair, something prosecutors later said played a key role in what came next. In September 2024, arguments between Jennifer and Matthew grew more intense. Neighbors described a household full of tension, where doors slammed and tempers flared. Then came the day that changed everything. By the end of that month, Matthew Johnson, father, soldier, son, would vanish without a trace. It started quietly. Around mid-September, Matthew was last seen at home. No one outside the house laid eyes on him after that. Days later, Jennifer told different stories about where he might be. But on September 28th, Matthew was officially reported missing. To friends and family, the sudden disappearance was alarming. Matthew wasn't the kind of man to walk away from his duties, his children, or his family. Something felt off. And soon, detectives began to feel the same. The first red flag was Jennifer's behavior after Matthew's disappearance. Instead of being frantic, calling everyone she knew, and pleading for help, she seemed composed. Too composed, some would later argue. Police began digging into her story. They found inconsistencies. Jennifer gave explanations about where Matthew might have gone, but the timelines didn't add up. And then there was her alleged lover, the man investigators soon discovered she had been secretly involved with. That lover would later tell police that Jennifer said something chilling. She had killed her husband. According to prosecutors, Jennifer allegedly confessed that she shot Matthew while he was sleeping. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Back in those first days of the investigation, detectives focused on the house. Neighbors recalled seeing strange activity around the property. There was talk of rooftop storage containers being moved, a minivan parked at odd hours, and things being carried in and out late at night. Detectives grew suspicious. This wasn't looking like a missing persons case anymore. It was looking like a cover-up. On October 2nd, just days after Matthew was reported missing, police arrested Jennifer Gledhill. But here's the problem. They had no body, no physical evidence of a murder, only suspicion, strange behavior, and the whispers of a secret relationship. This is where the case takes its most bizarre turn. According to prosecutors, Jennifer didn't just kill her husband. She tried to erase him completely. What came next would shock the entire community. Investigators say Jennifer confessed to her lover, describing in disturbing detail how she killed her husband and disposed of his body. But remember, his body has never been recovered. And without a body, prosecutors face one of the toughest cases imaginable, proving murder without proof of death. And before I forget, if you're new, subscribe for more chilling crime cases. Quick question, are you watching this late at night or during the day? Drop your answer in the comments. When Jennifer was arrested, prosecutors dropped a bombshell. They claimed she had confessed to her lover. According to court filings, Jennifer told the man she was romantically involved with as she shot Matthew while he was sleeping in their Cottonwood Heights home. She allegedly described how she fired the gun, then calmly worked to cover up the scene. But that was only the beginning. The lover said Jennifer explained in disturbing detail what she did afterward. She allegedly moved Matthew's body into a rooftop storage container, a strange, almost desperate choice that would later draw investigators' attention. From there, prosecutors claim she loaded that container into a minivan, drove to an isolated area, and buried Matthew in a shallow grave. The words, as reported in court documents, painted a picture of cold calculation. Yet, even with these allegations, there was a major hole in the case. Detectives searched, but they couldn't find Matthew's body. They dug into places Jennifer allegedly described. They checked the vehicle. They scoured remote areas of Utah. Nothing. That meant prosecutors were now building a no-body murder case. In criminal law, these cases are rare and notoriously difficult. A jury usually wants to see the ultimate piece of evidence, the victim's remains. Without it, the prosecution must rely on circumstantial evidence, witness testimony, and, in this case, the words of a secret lover. So the looming question became, would that be enough? To make their case stronger, investigators turned their attention to others who might know what happened. That's when they uncovered an even more shocking twist. Jennifer may not have acted alone. Prosecutors alleged that Jennifer's parents, Thomas and Rosalie Gledhill, helped her cover up the crime. According to unsealed warrants, the couple may have assisted in cleaning the crime scene and moving evidence. Court documents suggest her parents were involved in getting rid of incriminating items, helping with the storage container, and possibly even knowing about the shallow grave. Detectives claimed the cleanup effort showed signs of planning and cooperation, as if the family had decided to stand united, even in the face of a horrific crime. When these details became public, the community was stunned. It's one thing to hear about a wife accused of murdering her husband. It's another to imagine parents stepping in to help cover it up. The picture prosecutors painted was chilling. A family conspiracy to erase Matthew Johnson's existence. Thomas and Rosalie were arrested on obstruction of justice charges. Just like their daughter, they pleaded not guilty. Still, their alleged involvement raised serious questions. Were they protecting Jennifer, or were they protecting themselves from something darker? With Jennifer's alleged confession, the missing body, and her parents charged, this was no longer just a case of domestic violence. It was starting to look like a full-blown family cover-up. If you're drawn into stories like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Not only will it help us bring you more cases from the darkest corners of true crime, but it also means you won't miss the next twist. And I'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments, and you might just get a shout out in our next video. But the biggest question still hangs in the air. How do you prove murder without a body? That's exactly what prosecutors will have to do in the courtroom. And that's what we'll explore next. When Jennifer Gledhill stood before the judge, the charges against her were staggering. She faced first-degree murder, abuse or desecration of a human body, obstruction of justice, and witness tampering. Her parents, Thomas and Rosalie, also faced obstruction charges. Jennifer pleaded not guilty. With that single statement, the stage was set for one of the most challenging murder trials Utah has ever seen. Why so difficult? Because this is a no-body case. Prosecutors don't have the ultimate proof that most juries want to see: Matthew's remains. No autopsy, no physical cause of death, nothing but circumstantial evidence and an alleged confession. That means they'll rely heavily on the testimony of Jennifer's lover, the man she allegedly confessed to, phone records and digital footprints that don't match her alibi, evidence of cleanup and suspicious activity, like the rooftop storage container and minivan, the alleged involvement of her parents, which adds weight to the conspiracy theory. For prosecutors, the story they tell the jury must be airtight. Jennifer had motive, means, and opportunity. She wanted to escape a failing marriage and be with her lover. She had access to the weapon, and she allegedly admitted to committing the crime. But the defense? Their strategy is equally clear. They'll argue that without a body, The state can't even prove Matthew is dead. Maybe he left voluntarily. Maybe the lover fabricated the confession. Maybe prosecutors are stringing together coincidences to build a narrative that isn't there. And here's the thing. Juries can be unpredictable. Some are willing to convict on circumstantial evidence. Others won't even consider it without the final piece of proof, the body. So the central question becomes, can Jennifer be convicted of murder without the one piece of evidence that proves Matthew is gone forever? The trial, currently scheduled for December 2025, is expected to draw national attention. Legal experts already point out that no-body murder trials are rare, but not impossible. History shows that juries can convict if the circumstantial evidence is strong enough. If convicted, Jennifer faces life in prison. If acquitted, she walks free, and Matthew Johnson's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. For Matthew's family, the uncertainty is devastating. They want closure, but without his body, even justice feels incomplete. For Jennifer supporters, if any remain, the case raises questions about whether the system can truly prove guilt without definitive evidence. And hovering over everything is one haunting unknown. Where is Matthew Johnson? So, here's where we stand. A missing soldier, a wife accused of murder, parents charged with covering it up, and a looming trial where the prosecution has no body to present. It's a case that challenges the very foundation of criminal justice. How do you prove the ultimate crime when the ultimate evidence is missing? What do you think? Do prosecutors have enough to win this no-body murder trial? Or will Jennifer Gledhill walk free because the evidence just isn't strong enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. And before I forget, tell me which city you're watching from so I can send you a shout out in the next video. Today's shout out goes to Marcus from Atlanta. Thank you for supporting the channel. Remember, you must be a subscriber to be featured, and hitting that like button only takes a second, but helps us bring more stories like this to you. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more chilling true crime cases where truth and justice collide in the darkest corners of human behavior.